Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone for creating time to join today's session. Um, I'm sharing my screen now. I think we're familiar with this from the last session. Yeah. So the last time in the last class, we actually uh delve a bit into CSS. So we actually beautify our student profile a bit. Um, Using some of the common. So we had the first thing we did was to group everything in a container. I think before we go, I would love to ask some couple of questions just so I know if we are getting to understand, just to check our understanding, basically. Um, I'm already sharing my screen anyway, but I wanted to ask, what are the three common HTML that we use for the student profile? I think I'm already sharing it. I wanna, she's already, the answer is obvious on the screen. The other thing we need to talk about is, can someone name the two ways, or maybe at least two ways, we can add CSS to our page? Do we know how to add CSS to our page? How do we add CSS to the page? I think we discussed about three ways the last time. Yeah, let me look at the chat. See, I think message inline. Yeah, thank you. What are the ways? Yeah.
By like creating a CSS folder.
Folder, or it's actually it
Is
actually
that
has
inline?
yeah, inline is when you have it within the tag, for example, within
Yeah.
the h3, yeah, inline. So we have the external, we have internal. Internal is where we create the style sheet within the header, for example, with the style keyword style. So all the styles are wrapped within this. So this is internal. So, and this is a kind of external way of when you actually reference to an external file. Our file is sitting here in the folder as well. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's what I meant.
yeah, that makes sense. Who can remind me of what the selector is basically? What are selectors? Do we know selectors? Can someone remind me what a selector is? It's very important we understand. We can relate this term with what we are doing, so it help us. It helped the understand our understanding basically. So what are selectors? Yeah, someone mentioned the class, or yeah, is it class or ID? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So an example of selector from my screen here is just like this one. We have the profile as a selector. Yeah. Thanks for contributing. I think we can just jump into the straight into this session. So just a bit of retrospective. The last session we wrap we wrap our student profile within what's it called, a container called profile. So that actually enables us to kind of apply styles to all whatever it's within the profile and div. So if we go to the style, we added so we added the selector. This is the class profile. We apply a couple of number of style. So we give it the maximum width, and which determine the width. This is the width of the student. We have the margin. We have um we have the background color, the padding, and the border. So yeah, I think before should I wanted to see if we can just to do a kind of refresh on Git as well. So I think if you can remember, just to stage our changes. So I'll do Git hard. So this will have all the files, and we need to do a Git commit. So based on the last session, we delve into let's say CSS, CSS basis. Yeah. So we have item, all item, and I have this one. I think I moved this one into this, so that's why. Let me see. This is inside the main this status. Yeah. Okay. I can do git push for now. Let's see. Should still be able to push the main here. All right. So back to the page, to our page. What we're trying to do today, I'm going to show you what we're trying to achieve today before we delve into it fully. Um, yeah. So can you see my screen? We're trying to move from this. This is what we have at the moment. The one on my, is it right? Yeah. Is what we have, right? And we're trying to move from this to this now. This is like the aim of this class session. So I'll try because this session is all about Flexbox and all. So we need to apply Flexbox model to able to session our um student profile to make it look more beautiful at least. Yeah. So let's have it in mind. So looking at this, imagine you are given this style or maybe a design by a UX UI designer in the team, and you ask, okay, this is the goal of our development, basically. So now you are at this point on the right. So what do we need to make sure we get to this point? So that's what we're going to do today. So now, if you look at this design or this page, it has like you can divide it into, let's say, three, is it four sessions? One, two, three, four. Yeah, one, two, three, four, four sessions. So let's take the first session as the header, or let's say the header with the user profile name and the image at the side. And these other ones are the main content about the user. So we have the about me. So we can give can actually be. I'm trying to say. I want us to understand what we are trying to do before we start writing the code. So we have different session. This can be a session, and this is all also a session. The contact details and the costs are also a session, and they are also divided equally. That's another thing we need to be sure certain about. They're also divided equally amongst themselves. And we have the last session, which is the favorable learning resource. So now what we're going to do is to kind of structure our what's it called? Structure our HTML to be maybe to be flex ready. Can I call it that way? So, but before then, I wanted us to also try to apply some number of for some number of property or styling. So there's a styling for um I don't think I don't know. Just like the different unit, we have different units. This is like pixel. We have different one for RAM. We have different this another one. So what we want to do is want to add. The last time we did a bit of box model. So we want to add some kind of increase the font of this so that it's more readable. So if you look at the H1. Our H1, we have how many H1? Just one. So let's try to okay, I've already added this style here. Uh okay, added this one just for us to see. I'll take out these styles. Let's see. Or just playing with it before the class and see. So you see that, do you see how it looks before applying the style? It's not really compact. So the first thing I'm going to do is um I'm going to add a font size to the H. So our H font size font size, let's say 2 rem. So I'm running this with a live server, so we always see the changes immediately on the right. And we can also have a border to our H1. Let's say we have a margin, margin bottom to be 0.5 r- root rem. So we can, if you try to inspect, this is which one is our H? We have the student. So before now, look, if you look at the, pay attention to the student. I will comment out this. How does it look? This is the font. It's increased the font. So H1 is the student. Okay, I'm doing this one. This is O instead of zero, zero. Yeah. Yeah. So also I'm going to add on H2 add some properties to the H2 as well. Like this, just similar to this one. Just going to do a copy and paste it here. So, but in this case, you just need the top of apply the margin top with, let's say, that a lot. You can see that the John Doe looks a bit big. You just need the margin top of let's say set it to 0. And the font, I don't really want it to be as that big. Can change it to, let's say, 1.5. Yeah. So the John Doe looks a bit, just in terms of the font, it looks better. And also our H3, which is the about, and the other guys about the cause and the favorite, need to add some kind of style. Something is missing. Yeah, something is broken. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we need to add some style to the same font size. Need to add some font size. I give it 1.2. So rem. So this is like the root. So it's now also we need to add margin top to our H3 with 1.5. See, let's see. Yeah. So you give it, let's spread this one. Come on, let me just put it below. Yeah. So all the H3 has, because we gave it 1.5, H3 1.5 text align. Let me see. Inspect. Yeah, our H3 has a text align center. The font size is this 1.2 and the margin top. So margin top, if you look at this, this is, if you put your mouse, the margin top is what is just at the, what color is that? We have the, what color is this? This blue and orange, right? That's the orange color. Yeah. So the orange color is like the margin top, which is 1.5. So the blue is just like the content. So I remember we talked about the box model where we have just like what we have in the model. And this is the content. What is outside the content is the padding. And what is outside padding is the border, and what is after outside is the margin. So when we put our mouse on the margin, you see that it shows that we have a margin. We didn't apply any border or padding. That's why we didn't see any obvious padding or obvious border around the content itself. So we added just the margin, and we can see that the margin is obvious that when you inspect, click on this mouse and go to the About Me, you see that obviously we added the margin, which is the outmost layer of the content, basically. So the next thing we need to add is looking at this one. What else do we need? Let me close this one. So the next thing we need to add is, let me see, we added this other one. So one. paragraph and this. So next step will be let's let's kind of prepare our HTML to be this to be ready to apply a flex model or a flex box basically. So I'm going to divide, like we said, this is it. We start with the first one. I'm going to group this student. Currently, we have it just at the top. What we want is one, the student to be on the left and the image to be on the right. So let's see what we can do about that. So the first thing we need to do, we have the div. This is a container that has all of it. Now we need to group just the student profile, the student name, and the image. This thing, the three of it, we need to group them, add them within the uh, container. So let's say we're going to be using div. A div is a container. Let's have it first div. Now the first div is just to wrap. Remember, I just want to wrap all of these one in the same container. Then if I try to format this page, yeah, they're all within the same container. So the next thing we need to do will be um, so if you can see that the container does not really have any effect on the page because we don't need to refresh anyway. It doesn't have any effect on the page. It still remains the same. Just trying to prepare it for the flex model. So the next thing we need to do will be trying to um, group this. We have this one. So we also need to group this because this and the student profile and the name are kind of grouped together. If you look at this one, let's go back to the templates we're using. These are grouped into the same, they are grouped together, the student profile. So this temporarily John Doe, the name of the students are actually grouped together. So I'm going to do something called, I'm going to group this again, just like adding them in a container, a div. Then we can have this, and let me format this again. Format page, div, div, and just do it. Yeah. So they're all, we have the name, the student name, and the profile within the same div, and we have the outermost div as well. So for now, we leave it this way. So what we can do is we can add some selector if you want at this point, or we can add some selector. Let's say the first selector we need to add will be, we already have a profile that we should know that this is like we want to take this out the header. So the first selector we need to add is like a class. Let's add a class. Let's give it profile header, and we want to also add the second div. This is the first. No, sorry, this is the first div. This should be for the first div. Profile header, and the second one is let's say this is the profile text basically. Let's just call it text for now. So now we have the profile header and the profile text. So let's now the next thing we need to do is to group. Remember, we have another session called About Me. So we need to find a way to group these together. I forgot to share in live. I think I might need to share in case someone wants to join and join. Copy, copy. I just put it on the chat. Yeah, you can join me on this together. So I would have wanted someone to try to do the next one, grouping um the about me within the same div. Anyone able to join just to see what we are trying to do is just to prepare the HTML page so we can easily apply our design so it looks similar to what we have. This this is our expected result. This is where we are at the moment, on the left, on the right. So if you're able to join, let's please join. I think someone has joined. Oh, no, someone, nobody. Anyway, while I wait for someone to join, so let's work on the next one. So remember that this about me up to this favorite seems to be like the main profile or the main content of the profile, basically. So I'm going to try to group this all together first. Let's see. Add a div, go- then cut this and take it down just to like I think the end of this one. Yeah. So the end of that one. Try to format it and see if it looks fine. Yeah, it looks okay. So I don't miss wrong tag. So the next thing I need to do, since this is the wrapper, this div wraps all the content, the main content from the about me to the favorite. Now, also we need to be able to determine or group this one. So if you're familiar with some of the HTML tag, we can use session. Let's take this as a session. About me is a session, contact details of the session, and contact courses as also a session. So what we can do is group this. This is about me, and put them within the section tag. Let's use the session. Section. And where do we stop? This is contact, just before contact here. I'll paste the closing tag. Then I can also format it. Yeah. So formatting it, it looks like these are all within the section. And you can see, if you look at the right, nothing has changed on the HTML. Everything still looks the same. So what we need to do next is what we want to do, if you look at this image, this design, or is it the expected results, these contact details and courses, there seems to be like in row divided into two. So what we can do is to group this, add them within the same container so we can easily divide and set the flex to divide them into two equal parts. So now what we're going to do, let me go back to this one. So we have the contact details, we have the courses. So what I'm going to do is I have a div, initial div, a container. I'm going to group this into the same, this contact details and courses. Yeah, I think they're all in this. Let me format it and see. Oh, does it look formatted? Format document. Yeah. So these contact details, just going through the design or the expected result, contact details and containers and the courses are within the same container, basically. So we've done that. And we can also, now we need to put this in a section and this in its own section. So we can wrap this into a session. Let me see. Do I have anyone joined? Yeah, Tara. Okay. So so I've done this. Tara, I think you're on. Can you do the same for the courses? So we want to hurry up the courses in a session as well. Let me see if someone is there. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Only courses? That's all there is, right?
Say that again, sorry.
Um,
Only the courses, yeah. We've
Courses
we've
in the
wrapped
section.
yeah, we've wrapped, yeah, exactly. We've wrapped the contact details. If you look at the design, um, where are
Oh,
you?
I see. There I
Yeah.
am. Okay.
Contact details and the courses are really in different sessions, yeah. And go back to yeah, yeah. Yeah, just cut that and then let's have it in the,
Should it be after this div?
no, that's
Oh,
far away. So just before the, if you look at, you can figure it out with the design. Look at it.
oh, okay.
This is the expected result. If you look at the screen,
Mhm.
so it just wrapping the courses alone, not the whole
Oh, I see,
over.
I see.
Yeah.
So right here.
It's, no, before the closing tag of a div, just if you look at, this is all the session, this is all the courses right here.
Mhm.
So just after the unordered list, yeah. So we'll try to format it. Let's format the page. Yeah, see that just within the session, and the contact detail has its own session as well. And the div here has the full, like the wrapper wraps the content, like this line here. It wraps the contact details and the courses together. So what else? We need to do the same thing for um our favorite. Yeah. So
Hassan,
let's
can
do
I
the
ask
same.
a question?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So section is when you just have one section that you want to identify or
Exactly.
and
So
then
that,
define.
yeah.
Div is when you have two parts or two sections that you want to put together in some way.
So they just take div like a container. That's a big container. So within
Bigger
a
container.
container, you can have boxes, different boxes of different sizes. So section are just like, okay, that small box you inserted in the container or in a big box. So section, you're sectioning your, I think in the last class, we showed this in the last class. So let me look if I can grab the, um, let me, 1 second. It's very important to understand this. Yeah. Where are you? Let me get the file. Document. What's the name? Did I call the dream? Yeah, this one. I think. Yeah, this box model. If you remember the box model,
Mm-hmm.
this the in this outermost carton is like a div. So you can, so it has other section like other smaller cartons, but boxes within it. So let's say this box is a session within this outermost one, which is a div. So just, or you can look at this as well. This is the content, and this it has a border, but this is not a good representation of what we're talking about. But to get it right, session or a div is like a big container, and the session is like, just like a smaller part of a big container, basically.
Okay.
Just like this one. This is let's say
But sometimes when people are like messy with their coding, do they just use these interchangeably?
yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
it can use it interchangeably actually, but the aim of HTML was to it's better to make it a session. Sometimes you can even see a footer. So I think with HTML you can even decide to make all of them a div without a session. I don't know if you start, that's what you meant. So you can start to make it this a div within a div. But it makes
Mhm.
sense in terms of context. It makes when someone reads your code, okay, this is a session, but that's the aim of the HTML so that it can be more readable. So within the container, you have a section. Okay, this is a session, but it's fine if you it will still work the same way if you make this a div, because what we want to do is just apply a style to this. We're still going to add some. If you look at this, if you change this to div and this to div, it didn't make any change to the result basically. So they are just container, basically they are container and does not really have any effect on our page at the moment until we start adding some styling. I hope that's clear.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, welcome. So what we are left to do is to add some other. We've added the selectors for the header, which we've taken care of. Now we need to add selector for this one. So we call this, we said this is a profile. Let's say this is our profile, a profile, main. Okay, I think we're left to do something. Yeah, we are yet to add this within its own section, I believe. Yeah, so let me just do that quickly. We can do this before time is running out. This is session, just cut this off and put it just below. Then I can format this, yeah. So let's go back to our, so these selectors will help us style our page properly. So this is the first one, this is the main, that's the entire container. If you look at this, it wrap all the item, all the content, which is the main profile. And here we have our session. Let's call this about. This could be a class called about, because it's all about the profile. And also we can have this will be, remember we have this two as a command. This is where we are at the moment. We have two items within this, so we can call this like a prof. Is it a role or something? What should we call it? Is it an information role, or let's call it info role at the moment? So we can do this. Say class info iPhone or profile. Let's say info role, the role, because there are roles, two items in the role. And this one will be, let's make it a contact, call it contact. And we have the last session. This could be course. I give it a course, courses or something there. So we have the last one, which is the favorite or something, or resource. Resources. Yeah. So looking at this, looking at the result of this, let me take out this one there. Looking at the result of this, it doesn't have any effect on our page at the moment. Everything still looks as the same. So how do we make this start? How do we make things start making sense? So we've actually tried to ensure that our HTML is kind of ready for the styling. So we go back to the next thing we need to do is to add now add kind of in our style sheet. We can now start introducing flexbox basically. So we have the first thing we need to do is style let's go back to the style the header so that the profile text and the profile image an image will be at the right, sitting at the right, and the text will be in the left. So let's go back to this one. So looking at the style sheet, so the first thing we need to do is we have, what do we have? We have the profile header. So we need to get this profile header. How do we reference a class? We use a dot, then the name of the selector, then we wrap it within the curly bracket. So the first thing we need to do is because we are dealing with Flexbox, so Flexbox, we need to enable Flexbox basically. So the display for this will be a flex. Display will be flex. Can you see what will just happen now? So just immediately we highlight the display flex. We have the student just jump into the left and then the image to the right. So because we've already kind of divided this into two, so this is one, and we have the image. So it went to the right side. So the next thing we need to do, maybe add some alignment to the text or the item, each item. This within the flex, this is now a flex. Let's inspect this. Why is it? So if you inspect this and put mouse, the old one is called, yeah. So it's a flex. So look at it, the flex direction. Let's see. Let's see, you can just make some changes. But the flex direction at the moment is this one. It is wrapped. We can just see how you behave. We can play a bit with this one. Space between adjustment. Okay. Yeah. So this is what we are trying to do. Align. We're trying to align. Before now, you can see the text is just jump to the top. So we want to align this to set alignment to, yeah. So this is align center. So what we did is, I can imagine I just copied out this because this is what I need. I can align this. So if you're not too sure about how things, well, you can play around with, when you inspect, you can play around with the inspection and try to see, make it work the same way you want it to behave. You can just copy out the, you see, you can copy out the for what's it called, the style that was applied to your style sheet, and automatically you have the behavior. So looking at this, does it seems like we are on the right track? Do we have the profile, student profile, and gender all formatted correctly? Yeah, yeah. Okay. Can we move on to the next step then? If this makes sense, yeah. So if this makes sense, then let's try to do this. We have our, so we have our about me, and so this is not too a big, not a big deal. So let's try to apply the next one. So the next one, let's go back to the next one will be our profile main. And within the profile main, we have the about. So we're just trying to see what we can apply to this profile. But before then, let's try to apply in our profile text. We have a text. Let's try to apply if a flex to the profile as well. We do a profile, not profile, a profile, a from text, and we can add the flex as well to that one. The flex, what do you want to apply to it? You can set it to flex one. Does it make any difference? Let's see, 1 second. Let me take away this one. So, let me comment it out. Yeah. So you can see the flex, without the flex one, it's the image is not properly jumped to the right. Looking at this, there are still a lot of space here. And from what we have in our design, it just the image is just at the right side of the page. So applying this flex one ensures that the image is just at the right position. Yeah. So the next thing we need to now do is 1 second. It's so align this alignment, just to give a bit of context. The alignment cross is it like a cross has it's vertical by default. We saw when we inspected it, we saw the different alignment settings or value. And so this display flex is like it turns the header to um a flex container, like we said, just to explain a bit some of this one. In case it's not too clear, we can ask questions, and yes, so we can add the maybe, let me see, justify. Let me see. What
Hassan,
else can we?
quick question.
Yes, please.
Can you give flex a different number? Like, what is flex 1 or 2? What would 2 do to it?
Yeah, let's see. What will I do? So it's so when you remove I think the value does not. The major thing is to apply effects, and let's inspect this again and discover what this is doing exactly. So we have this, and we have this text. This is the full text, profile text. So if you take away this, and I've just commented this. So flex, and if you even if you change the value to 0, so at least you have a value. When the value is greater than 0, it does it doesn't matter what you set it to, but the value must be greater than 0 before you can have the set the flex to the text image. So you can see this is 1. So what he's doing is flex is like setting this. Let's go again. This is the full. I just want to grab the full. Yeah. So you look at this, it sets the value to 1. And if you set the value to 0, so or you remove the flex, you went back to this thing. So flex is like giving the container a flexible, setting a flex to, how will I say it? 1 second. Let me just say flex 1.
Is it what makes it resizable and to fit
Yeah. Basically, it receives
the
the proportion of the free space exactly.
oh,
So
okay. So like if you look at this on an iPad or tablet, it's gonna look okay, or
yeah, exactly.
mobile
The
device.
proportion, yeah.
Got it.
So let's say, look at this.
So
So
it
this
can take,
is,
uh,
okay, go on, sorry.
oh, sorry, it can take any non-zero number as long as it's any number
Yeah,
other than
exactly.
zero.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
And so Hassan, if it's not flex, it's default static.
Yeah, if not flex, then you can see it's default to the actual, let's look at this. So this is, remember that we wrap this within a div, I believe so, yeah. We wrap this within a div. So a div by default, make it a block inline and not inline, make it a block. The display will be blocked so that it will be blocked, and that's the default. But once you add the flex to it, it makes it just make it more proportional, kind of sharing the space between the image and the actual text. Yes, so let's see what else we're trying to work on this about me. Um, so the first thing we need to do we really need to change anything on the about me? Let's see. Does it look right? Or let's focus on the, yeah, about me still looks okay for now. At least the only thing I can see is like the border around the text. Come on. So well, let's crack on for now. So so let's go ahead to do this rule. And what we need to achieve that will be, we've already added a section, and we have added 2 sections within the role, info role. So we need to add some styling to the info room, for example. So let's say info role, and we can give it a display. We need to give it a display. Let me take out this one so we can see. So also we need to add a flex, enable flex on that. It's just like say a display flex. What do we observe? So display flex, why did it divide this into two? Because we prepared it in a way that once you have the flex, it knows how to divide the session into two. Because we added 2 sessions. So the only thing we added flex to it was this info row. So adding flex to this info row understands that when you have a flexible div, it's divide the session. If you add multiple session, what happens if you add, let's assume we had multiple session into this. Do you see what happens there? So it's divide the item. These are the flex item. Each one's a core flex item into three the proportional size or the same size. So I'm just going to revamp this one, and this is what we have. So what we need to do next will be, okay, let's try to see how to make it more beautiful, setting background to this and kind of border around it. So that will be, who want to try this maybe? Does anyone want to try? I think Tara, you're the only one on the link here. Do you want to give me a try?
Sure, I'll give it a shot.
Sure, thank you. So what we want to do is kind of give you the background. Let me go back to the image. I'll give you a background, then
Hmm.
yeah, just background for now and see that. Let's try that.
Oh, I have to go to the. Okay, I'm there.
The style. You have to go to the style, yeah? Or do you want me? I can actually just follow you. Let me say follow participant. Yeah.
Okay, so the courses section, correct?
Yeah.
So in here in the class, like next to class, do I put a comma?
No, I think you need to apply style. So you need to go to the style sheet of CSS
Oh,
and apply style to
oh, right.
yeah.
Where do I put it?
Yeah. So if you look at just come to the last item, come to the last one, last line. Then you try to reference the selector. Which selector are you trying to pick?
The selector is course.
Yeah, so if you go back to um, the HTML file,
Okay.
yeah,
Index
you see that we have the courses and we have the
courses.
contact. So what we want to do is give this
Contact.
session the same background. So we need to group them together, kind of. So in your CSS, you need to do something like maybe find a way to access. How do you access this in CSS? How do you access this in CSS?
Like this. Courses.
Mhm.
Background color. Oops, that's not spelled right.
Yeah.
Okay, background color. What color do you want?
Yeah, just I think
Gray.
does it look good? You can see the results on the right.
I
So,
want like a beige color.
okay. For the page color, I think what I use is F9, I think. This color. Let me just paste it for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very subtle.
Yeah.
And can I put two in here, like courses and contact, or I have to do it separately?
Exactly. You can, because you want both of them to have the same. So you don't need to repeat the same. You don't need to
Okay.
have duplicate styling. You can have the same styling for a group of items. Yeah. So what do you need to access the contact then?
Uh, well, I can just copy this and then
And
change
that
courses
I
to
don't want you
contact.
to copy. I know you can do that. I can just duplicate that but they have the same. Remember, one of the principles of programming is do not repeat yourself. So you need to find a way to
Oh, so we can change
reuse.
the whole section to have a class. Is that it?
Yeah, you could reference both. You can have if you can have a comma, for example, yeah, and
Okay.
add the classes, for example,
I see.
or
Okay, so
contact,
I'll
yeah,
do that.
yeah, contact, yeah.
Dots classes. What am I doing? Courses
Contact,
and
yeah.
contact. I don't know why
Yeah.
I'm getting my wires crossed. Still need a dot,
Yeah.
and then we can.
Does it look okay?
Yep.
Cool. So what do we need? If you look at what you did there, the it seems like you gave the style to this div, but what you
Mhm.
did was to give this style and this style, but it seems to be too close to each other. So what do we need to separate them in a way? So we need to have a kind of, remember, a border or a margin or a
Mhm.
padding, whatever, just to have a bit of separations. If you look at the image you shared, you can see that they are well separated. Can you see
Mhm.
it? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you've tried. Because of time is running now. Let's just crack on.
Okay.
Uh, I will just 1 second. So we need to add a padding. Let's say we add padding. Let's give it a bit of padding. Let's see, 15 pixel. How does it look? That will give you the padding. Remember, padding is just something at the top. So what we also need to give it is like a border around it. So we need to give each one a let's say let's give it a border radius at least. Just give it a kind of a slight edge. You see that this is like a square. The border radius, we give it something like let's say 6 pixel, for example. So if you look at this, it's a bit, let me inspect it. The border radius, just to make it look obvious, I will increase the border radius and give it something like 16. Yeah, you can see the radius. You can see that the edge of the each page, it's that's the radius. Can you see this? Can you see with my cursor here? Can I mark this? Oh, let me make it more big, 50. Yeah, you can see that it have a kind of the head. This is the radius. This part is called the radius. But for now, I'll just give it 6 because this is what we need. Also, it can give you the border itself. The border can be 1 pixel solid, and give it a color. Yeah, this is what we need. What color do we need? We need let me give it E0, something like this. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's a bit divided, but not fully divided. So remember, I want to do something. I want to give also reference this session. So if you do info row, this is info row. I just want to do info row as well. Come on. So this is another way to access it. We need to give it a flex as well, a flex one, just to have its section properly as well. So flex one, and what else? So for our info role itself, we need to make it a flex. Okay, we made it a flex. So what we need more will be like some gap around it. So let's say gap 20 pixel. And we also need, you can see the gap we had it. So to add the gap 20 pixel. We need some kind of a little space between the text. So that give you the margin top, so 20 as well. Yeah, so at least we can see that there's a little space within there. So what else? Um, so the display, like we said the other time, it divides, like it creates a row layout of 2 columns for us, like you see here. And it deflects one on both. Children divide space equally as well. So because time is running out, let's see what else can we have. So I think does that make sense? Let's see. Let's look at the design. Yeah, I think we are very close to the design at the moment, isn't it? Let's see. So we are very close. Looking at this one, at least we are able to, one second. We're able to divide half of a product and student profile on the left on the image. They are about looks okay. The only thing is like I think the font is a bit different, and every other thing looks like okay. We can see that this is not also aligning properly. Could be because I one second. One second. No. Okay. So we will actually going to touch more on this maybe in the next section. At least we're able to achieve something about this one. So if you have any question, you can ask on this one before we wrap it up. I think, yeah, what else? So remember, I actually added this after our class last time when someone asked a question. So I added this one. If you take this out, one second, I think I'll mess it up again. So this was to give remember someone asked about adding how do we reference a font from the page from the our folder instead of from the URL or from the links. So I showed this example just to be able to have a font to that page HTML page using the font face. Yeah. So does anyone have a question? Anyone? So I believe we can maybe wrap it up here. So we at least we've been able to. So in the next session, I think is about responsiveness. So we see how responsive this page is going to be in our next session. Yeah. So when we look at it from different maybe different devices, this is let me see. I think so. How you can see the way it looks like it's not looking good on some other devices. Let me see, dimension, iPhone. Yeah, it's not looking good there. Not looking good. It looks a bit better on iPad. On the iPad, it looks a bit better. So this is what we're going to talk about in the next session. So yeah, if there's no question, we can just end it here. Thanks everyone for jumping in.